and saying he was sure there was something in the fir grove that brought them no good. So to show him that all she said was true, she took him to see Elfie and the fairy. But no sooner did Gossamer know that he was there, which she did in an instant, than she changed herself into a raven and flew off into the fir grove. Mary burst into tears, and so did Elfie, for she knew she could see her dear friend no more. But Martin was restless and bent upon following up his search after the fairies, so when night came he stole away towards the grove. When he came to it, nothing was to be seen but the gloomy firs and the old hovels, and the thunder rolled, and the wind groaned and whistled through the trees. It seemed that all about him was angry, so he turned homewards, frightened at what he had done. In the morning all the neighbours flocked around, asking one another what the noise and bustle of the last night could mean, and when they looked about them, their trees looked blighted, and the meadow parched, the streams were dried up, and everything seemed troubled and sorrowful. But when they all thought that somehow or other the fir grove had not been not near so forbidding to look at as it used to have. Strange stories were told, how one had heard flutterings in the air, another one had seen the fir grove as if it were alive with little beings that flew away from it. Each neighbour told his tale, and all wondered what could have happened, but when Mary and her husband knew what the matter was, and bewailed their folly, for they foresaw that their kind neighbours to whom they owed all their luck were gone for ever. Among the bystanders none told a wilder story than the old ferryman who plied across the river at the foot of the grove. He told how at midnight his boat was carried away, and how hundreds of little beings seemed to load it with treasures, how a strange piece of gold was left for him in the boat as his fare, how the air seemed full of fairy forms fluttering around, and how at last a great train passed over that seemed to be guarding their leader to the meadows on the other side, and how he heard soft music floating around as they flew, and how sweet voices sang as they hovered over his head. Fairy Queen, mortal steps are on the green. Come away, haste away, fairies, guard your queen. Hither, hither, Fairy Queen, lest thy silvery wing be seen. O'er the sky, fly, fly, fly. Fairies, guard your lady queen. O'er the sky, fly, fly, fly. Fairies, guard your queen. Fairy Queen, thou hast passed the treacherous scene. Now we may down and play o'er the daisied green. Lightly, lightly, Fairy Queen, trip it gently o'er the green. Fairies gay, trip away round about your lady queen. Fairies gay, trip away round about your queen. Poor Elfie mourned their loss the most, and would spend whole hours in looking upon the rose that her playfellow had given her, and singing over it the pretty airs she had taught her, till at length, when the year's charm had passed away and it began to fade, she planted the stalk in her garden, and there it grew and grew till she could sit under the shade of it and think of her friend, Gossamer. Night night. Love you guys.